We'll call this City Commission meeting to order for Tuesday, February 27th, 2024.
Commissioner Edwards.
Present.
Mayor Hendricks.
Present.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Here.
Vice Mayor Faulkner.
Here.
Commissioner Maples. Here.
Now it's time for our invocation. Pastor Luke Letzinger of Caulfield Church of Nazarene, could you lead us, please?
Lord, we love you. Thank you for this day. God, I thank you for everybody that's here and the hard work that they do to just bless our community. God, I pray that you would just give them unity and spirit, not necessarily opinion, but spirit, God, just to bring this community closer to greater goals, Lord. And we just love you and thank you for all the work they do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Pastor
you.
Letzinger. Before we get started, make sure everybody silences their cell phones. Review of the agenda. Anyone have any additions or modifications to the agenda?
I have none.
None. Moving on, we'll go to our consent agenda, the city commission meeting minutes from the last meeting, Tuesday, February 13th, and an action to set a public hearing on March 26th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. in the Caulfield City Commission room to consider submission of a CDBG grant application from the Kansas Department of Commerce and the appropriation ordinance number AO-24-04 in the amount of $5,730,184.56. Staff. Commissioners.
Highlights from the consent agenda or the appropriations ordinance.
All right.
We have Asplin Tree Expert Company in the amount of $11,321.68. Coffeyville Insurance Association, Power Plant Quarterly Insurance in the amount of $141,253.75. We have Cross Discipline Engineering for substation upgrade in the amount of $9,617.75. Delta Fire and Safety for bunker gear in the amount of $40,428.81. We have Grand River Dam Authority energy purchase in the amount of $2,607,500.20. Kansas Department of Revenue for taxes, licenses, and permits in the amount of $98,657.45. Kansas Eastern Region Insurance for workers' comp premiums in the amount of $218,570. We have, what was that? Midwest Minerals, and that was for rock, sand, and dirt, and I'm assuming that's while we were for ice, that kind of thing, in the amount of $7,360.84. Montgomery County Sheriff for the sheriff's sale in the amount of $5,285. Throwing papers here. Newcomb Wireless Services for the dash mount keyboards and the tablets for, I think this is for the police cars, in the amount of $60,019.63. Republic Services for trash in the amount of $38,667.38. Rocky Mountain Distributors, that's for some equipment at Sycamore Park in the amount of $5,830.56. Southwest Power Pool in the amount of $726,147.17. Southwest Power Administration for $13,064.68. Tantalus Systems, that's for our meters, $20,726.55. Then we have Zoll Medical Corporation for defibrillators in the amount of $6,523.40. And then we had a payroll distribution of $389,554.12.
Thank you, Commissioner Maples. Any questions from anybody on anything else?
I move to approve items 1 through 3 of the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Faulkner, seconded by Commissioner Van Oster to approve items 1 through 3 of the consent agenda as presented. Mayor Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Faulkner. Vice
Aye.
Mayor Faulkner. Commissioner Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Next up is the appropriation ordinance number AO-24-04A for Isham's purchases.
I move to approve appropriation ordinance number AO-24-04A for Isham's Hardware in the amount of $225.49.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Maples, seconded by Commissioner Edwards to approve item 4 of the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner Van Oster.
Abstain.
Vice Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Mayor Hendricks.
Aye. Next up is comments from the public. I don't think there will be. Okay. Old business. Second reading of ordinance S-24-01, an ordinance establishing a land bank pursuant to KSA 12-5901. Do we have any more comments from staff on this?
No, other than, I met with Matt again this week on it, and, met with Matt again this week, and we definitely want to, go forward, and we've accumulated our property list, and it'll make it easier for folks to donate property and for us to sell property, and so that's one we need to move forward on.
Is the Planning and Zoning Commission fully up to speed and prepared to step in and start
Yeah,
managing this
we've
from a
reached out to
commission
them,
standpoint?
and we've reached out to them, and they know that they're going to take on that role.
Okay.
All right?
Move to approve the second reading of ordinance S-24-01 as presented.
Second?
Motion is made by Commissioner Edwards, seconded by Vice Mayor Faulkner to approve the second reading of ordinance S-24-01 as presented. Vice Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Mayor Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Moving on to new business. Resolution R-24-07, a resolution to authorize the execution of an agreement for health insurance, including stop-loss and aggregate stop-loss, dental, basic life, accidental death, and dismemberment, and third-party administrative services for the city's fiscal year 2025, partially self-funded health insurance coverage. Director of Human Resources, Allison Pryor, will make comments and answer questions.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. The City of Coffeyville's health insurance plan is a self-funded plan. The plan is funded by deposits made into the city's risk management fund, that's Fund 350, by the city in an amount negotiated with the city's bargaining units, as well as monthly premiums paid by each participating employee. As a self-funded plan, during plan years where claim expenditures fall less than the city and the employee's contributions, our plan gets to retain those extra funds and carry that forward into the next year to offset cost increases. With this plan type, fixed costs for purchase of stop-loss coverage and administrative fees are the only opportunity to pursue competitive pricing for service. The claims paid by the plan reflect the employee's actual medical claim costs and represent the largest part of the plan costs. With a fully funded plan, the insurance carrier collects all of the premiums, and if the plan has a good year, the insurance carrier benefits from those remaining dollars. Benefit Health Advisors, who's our third-party administrator, quoted 12 carriers covering stop-loss and full coverage options. The lowest cost option, as shown on the healthcare insurance analysis spreadsheet, which was attached, was stop-loss coverage from Spectrum Underwriting. By timely binding of this coverage, we were able to lock in pricing for this plan year that resulted in no changes to our current plan design. The plan design remains unchanged for the upcoming year with medical coverage through the Aetna network and dental coverage through Delta Dental. There are no changes to the funds requested from the commission or to the employee's premium, deductible, or coinsurance costs. The plan will continue to offer the same prescription drug coverage as well as the Aetna Employee Assistance Program and Teladoc for all covered members. The maximum cost exposure for this year is 1.5% higher than last year, as shown on your healthcare insurance analysis. Should our medical claims reach 100% of our full exposure, the amount available in Fund 350 from prior year carryover would easily cover the balance that would be left over. If you have any questions about this item, I'd be happy to try to answer those.
Hey, additional comments. Benefit Health Advisors did a great job on this program, and we looked at a number of carriers, as Allison mentioned, and as health costs are rising 6 to 9% a year, the fact that we were able to stay flat is a real win. I mean, I was expecting not that good of news, but it was great news, and I think it puts us in a really good place, and they really did do a great job. I've been through these multiple times in my previous life, and this was well done.
So these, I did have a question.
Just one question. My ears went up when you mentioned, you said something about savings from this year, previous years, going forward to offset, and I believe the word you used was anticipated increases.
No.
Did you just mean to say unprogrammed, or
No.
or do we really anticipate some?
No,
some
what
kind
I
of,
said was,
growth?
should medical claims reach 100% of our exposure, then the amount available in Fund 350 would easily cover that amount, the amount that we were able to carry over from previous years that is sitting in that fund.
Okay, all right.
So we're still
So
safe.
how it is that this typically works is we look at 100% of what that absolute max exposure could be for our program. We typically budget, in the past, we were budgeting 80%. That's why a couple years ago, we fell behind. We needed to increase the amount that the commission pledges to spend for each employee's healthcare coverage. That so far has been sufficient, and again, this year is sufficient. But we have increased the amount that we anticipate those claims to be at roughly 90% of our overall exposure versus the 80% that we had budgeted before.
Okay, so the stop-loss policy would take effect after, if all of that was spent?
So the stop-loss policy is for each and every person that's covered under our plan. Our losses are capped at $50,000.
Per
So-
person?
Per person. So we have no more exposure than that. And then we also have an aggregate stop loss that stops our loss at a set point. And you see all of that on that health insurance spreadsheet, on the analysis spreadsheet,
Okay,
I
okay?
get it.
Thank
It's
you.
kind of a tiered, okay.
Right.
And I know we have to renegotiate this every year. They don't allow 2 and 3 year cycles on this. They want you to revisit it every
Right.
single year.
On health insurance, they do not. The carriers want that requoted
okay.
Yeah,
every
they're
single year.
looking at recent history.
Yeah. Well, it's good. We've got this worked out for next year already.
Yes.
Early.
So we will be planning to do open enrollment. Our plan year for that fiscal year 25 starts April 1 of this year. So it's kind of odd how it is that that works. But that starts April 1 of this year and runs through March 31 of next year. So that's why we quote it by the end of February for open enrollment in March and a plan launch date of April 1.
Okay. All right, great.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
job, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll move to approve Resolution R-24-07 as presented.
I'll
Sec-
second.
I'm not sure who that was.
It's
Emery.
Emery, okay. Motion is made by Mayor Hendricks, second by Commissioner Van Oster, to approve Resolution R-24-07 as presented. Commissioner Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Mayor Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
aye.
And Vice Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Next item is Resolution R-24-08, a resolution to approve the purchase of shelter equipment for Sycamore and North Park. Director of Public Works, Thomas Osborne, will make comments and answer questions.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As you know, the citizens voted for a 10-year sales tax put towards parks and throughout the city. Our first park was Sycamore Park. The plan ultimately is to do one park a year and try to keep it within that year. Being as it was the first year that we were starting on this project, we needed to let funds grow in the accounts before we could start spending money to make sure they were there. The plan overall is to be pay-as-you-go, one park per year. So we have a little bit of carryover for Sycamore Park. This covers picnic tables, a couple of benches, that type of equipment for the shade structures in the park, as well as the anticipated shade structures in North Park, along with a couple of benches for the new areas there as well. We are trying to keep things as much the same throughout the city, so the kind of uniform look. So this is where we actually got the same type of trash cans that we put downtown as benches as downtown will match this type of
Nice.
same type of
Good.
look. So you have to answer any questions.
I don't have any questions.
No, thank you
That's
so
all.
much.
Thanks for getting all this.
Glad we're making
together.
progress on that.
It's a good deal.
In that case, I move to approve Resolution, excuse me, R-24-08 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Faulkner, seconded by Commissioner Maples, to approve Resolution R-24-08 as presented. Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Mayor Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Maples.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, Resolution R-24-09, a resolution to approve a contract with TLC Nursery and Outdoor Living for seeding and fertilization of Sycamore Park.
Thank you again, Mayor Commissioners. As with all construction, you have a lot of dirt that gets moved around, grass is compacted, and it just doesn't grow back quite as good as it was before. We had a very lovely stand of Bermuda in the park before we started. It's been pretty well, the ground's been compacted pretty good. And of course, where we brought in and dug out along for the walking path has all been disturbed. It really needs a good reseed and let that reestablish. And we looked at, contacted TLC to kind of get some quotes, and because they're what really who does that in this area. And we felt they had a reasonable quote to be able to reseed, do the final grading, get that grass reestablished quickly, as well as go in, aerate the compacted areas as well to kind of let that Bermuda start to take back over. Of course, we will be reseeding with cool grasses, fescue stuff, but eventually the hope would be to promote the Bermuda to get that and go ahead and take back over fully.
Are they only reseeding and fertilizing the disturbed areas and leaving some areas alone, or?
So no, they
Everywhere.
will do the reseed and fertilization over the areas that are disturbed, but they'll also go through and aerate and kind of loosen the soils back up
Okay.
throughout the whole area where it's been compacted. So,
And this is in the amount of $8,630?
yep, and that includes, I believe it was 4 treatments coming in throughout the year to try to get that fertilization and keep the weeds out. And
So is
help-
is this
help
a
promote that.
continuation of an existing,
This is first time we've contracted them to do it.
first time with them?
Yep.
Okay.
So they
Alright.
come in 4 times, right?
Yes, yep, there's 4
Early
applications.
spring,
Yep.
late spring, early summer, early fall, and then late fall.
Yep.
Okay, and do that, so then.
Now,
it
there's
keeps up.
always the option to, if we want to move forward and keep them doing certain things, that's always, we can look into. One of the things that they do promote is try to, early applications to try to keep the weeds and stuff out. It might be something we want to look at in the future for more parks, other areas, but this
So
would be
it just came to mind. I was up at Feaster Park recently, and there's a very large area there of just dirt. Have you seen that?
I haven't been up there recently.
It's a very large area of just mud and dirt, and yeah, the kids run through it, and it's pretty soft.
I'm
It
sure
probably
we have a
needs-
blast.
They were, that was the problem. So
It's fun.
probably ought to go up and take a look at that now that this could be something they could do up there
Yeah, we
soon.
can definitely take a look at it. It might be, depending on exactly where it's at, something that we could oversee real quick, just to, with some of our
Okay.
quick back stuff that grows like weeds, but some of it is weeds.
You can't miss it,
unfortunately.
just go up there, you'll
Yeah,
see
we'll,
it.
we'll definitely take a look at it.
All right, thank you. Motion, please.
I'll make the motion to approve Resolution R-24-09 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Edwards to approve Resolution R-24-09 as presented. Mayor Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thomas.
Thank you. Next up is a report from the city manager.
Okay, so commissioners, as you have requested, I want to talk about a number of topics. Road repairs. So February 22nd through March 1, we put down 50 yards of concrete, completed 12 water leak holes. 5 more will be started on March 4th, followed by more every week. As the weather's improved, we're getting a lot done. If you get a chance, drive down 8th Street.
It looks good.
And 4th
Yes.
Street, and
Looks
that's,
very good.
that they've done I stopped and talked to workers last 2 days, and they've done a really good job at filling those with concrete. So we're probably about halfway there, another 50 yards of concrete on the water leaks themselves, and then we'll get started on potholes and other things. But, there's never an end date on these. I mean, they just keep going, and once you've fixed them all, there's going to be more that pop up. So, but our crews are working really hard. Bobby Joe and his team done a great job. So, you're starting to see real progress. You had to wait till the weather cleared up, and that's where we're at. Domino's has broken ground on 11th Street. This is going to be about a 3-month project. They're building across from Taco Mayo, basically, in a grass lot next to the car lot there. So that should be about a 3-month project.
I worked on it for 3 years.
Amber Dean, the grant writer we hired, she's been here how many days?
She started last Thursday.
So maybe 3 or 4 days. We already got our first grant in and have 4 or 5 we're working on. She's going to be an unbelievable asset to the city. So that's going to be a big revenue opportunity for the city. Some of the first one we got in was on the ladder truck, which I'll touch on in more detail. Tennis courts are just about ready. I'm reviewing the write-up on that. It's an extensive write-up, and I'll walk you through that one as well. Signal lights, there may be an opportunity there that's significant for the city. We met with them today. And then I'm also allowing her to work on some downtown grants for revitalization of downtown properties with not properties the city owns, but individual owners that we can help get them into turnkey operation. And I think that's what it's going to take. I mean, none of the owners of these downtown properties can invest, millions of dollars. And so we're going to help, as long as she has capacity. We will help with other projects that are going on in the city. So she'll be a big asset throughout the city. The ladder truck assessment, I came into this job saying, hey, we can fix it. It's only got 47,000 miles on it, and it appears I was wrong. We had an assessment done, which I was committed to, and we had 2 assessments done, and the one that was more detailed had 53 items that need to be fixed, and in a range of 132 to 200,000 on a truck that's probably worth 20,000. So, we've had it out on multiple calls where it continues to fail, and so we're not going to buy a new truck. I've met with the fire department, that they're understanding of that, and they're sending me some used trucks that are available in the marketplace. New truck would be 1.7 million and not be delivered for 3 years, so it doesn't solve the problem anyway. So we're looking at used trucks out there. We've got one that's a 2012 ladder truck, 100-foot platform, low miles. You know, they're the ones doing the research on the used trucks and sending them to me, and then I'm reviewing them. And this one it's $749,000. We put a grant in today. That grant will require a city match. It's a 95.5 of 5%, so $37,450. And I think we got a real good shot at getting that. But that's the path we need to go down. And there are multiple used ladder trucks out there that are in really good condition. These big cities just don't keep them very long. So I think that's the correct path to go down. On the tennis courts, we've spent a lot of time on those because it's a complicated grant because they want it to be more inclusive of a park accessible, wheelchair accessible park next to it, and they want seating. It's like stadium type seating, but not expensive. But we've got a grant going out on that in the 800,000 neighborhood. We've got bids in the 500 to 600 for the tennis courts alone. We've got, I think, 4 RFPs, Bobby Joe. Is that how many we've got back? So we think we found the one we want to go with, but, just know that's an ongoing project. My plan is that we'd break ground by the end of the year, have the grant. We'll know on the grant by July, start breaking ground by the end of the year and have them up and running before the year's out.
In the same spot, or are you thinking putting him somewhere else?
Same spot.
Same
In
spot.
fact, it'll be a floating slab over the slab. We don't even need to demo the current slabs.
Oh,
but-
okay.
But
Okay.
they've really advanced dramatically over where they were, say, 30 years ago. They
Mm-hmm.
have tension lines that come in and you can fix any damaged crack. And so we're doing this right.
Okay.
And it isn't cheap, but it's going to be right, and it'll last 50 years, So we're going to do 6. There's, I think, 4 tennis courts, 2 pickleball, or we're going to do them all pickleball and tennis because you got to do that to meet the tennis tournament requirements. So we're still working through that level of detail, but I think we'll be successful in that grant as well. She's got a great track record, and in just 3 or 4 days, she's on 4 or 5 different grants, and I think within 30 days we'll have 8 to 10. And anytime we can get 75 cents on the dollar up to 95 cents, I'm going to take it.
So
And
what's the match on the tennis court?
Tennis court is an 80, what do we say, 75?
75, 25.
So we are, and
Okay.
so we're going to be about 200,000, and I've met with multiple opportunities to collect that, to raise those funds, and I think we're in real good shape there. So I feel good about where we're at.
Okay.
All right?
Good.
Questions?
Very good.
Is it too early to even mention or talk about the handicap playground equipment that we discussed?
Yeah, in fact, we've had multiple meetings around that, and that's, if you look at the new plan there, that includes sidewalk to get to that equipment and wheelchair accessible equipment as well.
And Sycamore Park.
Oh, and
specifically.
Sycamore, Thomas, you and I
That was,
talked
I think
about
that
that.
that was going to be a grant issue, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember, Jim. I'm gonna have to look at that.
Okay.
And get back to you, all right?
On the tennis courts, I went out there and looked around a few nights ago.
They're rough.
Oh my gosh. I feel pretty strongly that we would be doing the community a disservice if all we did was the surface of the courts.
Oh, we're not doing that. We're
Okay.
building brand new courts.
Okay, are we gonna put new fencing around them? Because
Yeah,
that
new
fencing looks
fencing, new
terrible.
lights. I mean, it's gonna be,
Okay.
everything's new.
I'm glad to
Yeah.
hear that.
Yeah, that's why it's,
But you're just leaving the slab.
Yeah, we're leaving the
that's
slab.
what
And you're
I
going to
said.
cover it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
then add to it.
it's a full, how many inches above it, Tom? Thomas, come on up and give him detail on that, will you?
So what we're looking at, and Bobby Joe's done a lot of the legwork on this, but what we're looking at is a post-tension slab. So that means concrete's poured, it's kind of cured out, and then they go in and they grab on. So instead of rebar, it's cable. And they'll grab onto that cable and they'll tighten and they'll put tension in there. And so when cracks, because concrete's gonna crack, you cannot avoid, I mean, it's literally designed, when you do concrete design, you want it to crack here, not crack. So what that post-tensioning does, it will actually hold the cable together. So you're looking at approximately 4 inches thick with a thickened edge, which will go to, I believe, 6 inches on all the way around the outside, with how that kind of works. And it just floats on top by using we'll put, they'll have a couple of different types of vapor barrier down, and then they'll do some fine grading to get everything just the way they want it before they come in and pour that slab on top. And so they'll do that slab, and then they'll put the court surface on top of their new slab, as well as will be surrounding with the lights and all the park equipment as well as going.
And the vendors we've looked at, this is all they do, so they're top of the line. And they've done it in other cities that we will look at before we pick the actual vendor, so we'll do our due diligence.
Awesome.
I know this is an obvious detail that you'd be aware of, but I think what hurt the tennis courts there now was standing water.
Yes.
You know,
yeah,
it just wouldn't drain off
Yeah,
of it. And
the slopes on them, whether it happened, whether the base failed and caused the cracks that started to hold the water, or it just wasn't put in properly to begin with. Who knows? Because I don't even know when those were put in, but it's quite a while back. But yeah, standing water also didn't help. The trees were so tight you couldn't get airflow through there, so that doesn't help with getting any sort of water that stood on there to dry out. So it really just, it started eating into the concrete, breaking it up, and just freeze thaw gets in there and starts causing everything to pop. And so that's what we see is out there, is a lot of the cracking from that.
all right, thanks for the info. Any other questions?
That's all for me.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
Thanks for the update. Comments from commissioners?
I just remembered when I was thinking Sunday, Tim, you've been here 2 months now, on Monday.
That's all.
Feels like 2 years already.
But, and I just want to say thank you for all you're doing. You go above and beyond. You're doing a lot of things that we talked about that I was hoping that we could dig into. And I'm very happy with that. It's working out very well, and I appreciate your being here. And I know you've committed to stay until, and I appreciate that, because that wasn't kind of what you had talked about at first.
Yep.
So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
For all you're doing.
I-
It's much,
Yes, thank you very
much appreciated.
I echo those comments. You're learning a whole new trade.
Oh, yeah. Now, we have made an offer to a finance director as well.
Okay.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Good.
so, and I talked to him today. I'm sure he'll accept by tomorrow, so,
Okay, that sounds great.
Good.
Getting all
Thank you.
those done.
yeah.
Thank you for everything. And to echo what we talked about on the water leak holes and the potholes and everything, thank you, Bobby Joe, for you and your crew. You've had the perfect weather, because as we talked about, usually this doesn't start till April or even May, and then you've got mowing time that comes up and everything, so we're really blessed right now that you can have your crews out there taking care of this stuff. I know you will.
We know you will.
We
Thank
know.
you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? I have a you?
Go ahead. I don't have anything.
Okay. I talked to Mr. Wilson about if anybody, I'm proposing next Tuesday at 5:45 at the Aquatic Center, the water park, just to do a walkthrough.
Okay.
Did you talk to Mr. Smith?
No,
Can he
I
be-
did actually,
You
but
did?
not on that specific day, but he
Okay.
can be there. He knows we're.
Would that work?
Yeah, yeah.
For you and any other staff? Tom?
So it's March 5th.
Fifth, Tuesday, basically next Tuesday
Tuesday the 5th.
at
Okay.
5:45.
I won't be available.
Okay.
Works for me.
Okay. Again, it's optional for commissioners
Okay, at the,
at the Aquatic Center at the
Aquatic
water
Center.
park.
okay?
Okay, that works for
All
me.
right. Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
A motion that we adjourn?
Oh,
we got something.
wait a minute, wait a second.
I was waiting for you guys to be done. I just wanted to let you guys know, as well as the citizens that watch, we are getting ready to start a construction project on the highway on 166, or 169, I mean, roughly from 15th Street south to Walden. With the base stabilization that's going to be required, especially through that area because we have a lot of water, wet springs through that area. With the stabilization that we're going to need, we're going to actually have to go down to one lane. We looked at doing signals, and with the vicinity of the railroad tracks, that won't work. So we are going to have to detour one direction of traffic. That's the easiest way to do it so that we don't end up with head-on semi-trucks. So the standard detour route for that area will be on Eldridge to Willow, and of course Willow at 166, and then everything comes right back together at the 166, 169 junction. I believe the plan is to detour southbound traffic. We are still finalizing the exact detour routes, but I believe that's the plan, is just to keep northbound on the highway and then detour southbound. This should be, it's a 90 working day, again, working day, so. But
Did
that's
you say 9?
90,
9
Are you doing
0?
90, yes.
Is
Are
that-
you doing all 4 lanes or just?
All 4 lanes,
Okay.
yes.
Is
So
the southbound detour route going to be able to accommodate semis effectively?
Yes, yes, yep. By making sure that we don't have that head-to-head traffic, that's our biggest issue. And anytime we had to detour for the railroad, but that street has been, it's pretty much designed to be able to handle those heavier loads. But yeah,
So
that's.
this will be the highway from, you're talking about
169 South
from
Walden.
roughly 15th Street to where?
Walden, so right there at the Brown Mansion.
Okay.
area.
That's not a great big stretch of highway.
1,000 feet, that's all we could get in the grant. before we
Wow.
maxed
No,
it
so it's
out.
paid for with
Grant's
the
a
grant.
95.5, is that right?
That one's a 90/10,
And how long will that take?
90 days.
90 days.
90 working
Is that
days.
a KDOT grant or
That
something?
is a KDOT grant,
Okay.
yes, yep.
Who's the contractor?
Jeff Graham Construction,
Okay.
yep. So it'll be, again, it's a working day, so,
I mean, that's a rough stretch.
It is.
So, it needs to be
is.
done.
And,
so.
yeah, the last one you did wasn't but 1,000 feet, was it? That we did on down?
We haven't gone on down. We applied for another 1,000, but I don't know
Yes.
that we.
But
I
the
don't think
one
we got
before
it.
that, that was.
Before that, the last one we did was actually 11th and Willow intersection, which is about 1,000 feet by the time you get done with that.
Right.
It's, yeah.
I'm getting picky here with details, but is this going to be poured concrete or is this slip form paving?
It'll be poured concrete.
While we're, excuse me, while we're on the subject, is there any plan to address 4th Street from Santa Fe to northeast? That section of 4th Street that the tankers coming out of the refinery tear up?
Sunflower, it's probably, so Sunflower to Fourth, it's kind of all in the loop where we're trying to figure out funding wise. So we do have the sales tax that is coming up for renewal for what would be more residential, non-highway use sales tax. We're working on a plan right now to try to present, just like we did with the parks. So this is what our plan is to do. And we are looking at replacing, we're trying to go 4 and 4, but I don't know if the funding's going to be there for 4 north-south and 4 east-west. But 8th Street and 4th Street are both on a high priority list to try to.
Yeah,
be
we've
able to
had
do
conversation around Sunflower, 4th Street. We brought Mueller in. We brought, I've talked to a lot of people. There are no easy solutions, but we definitely need to have a plan.
There's
But
been
we are talking.
Yeah, there's been several discussions with
Yeah.
CVR potentially
Yeah, they've been
on
in
First
the
Street
call.
as well. And just the last price that we put to actually fix the truck route that CVR takes all their trucks on, the price tag was approximately 3 million.
And that'd be
To
all
redo that,
concrete, wouldn't it?
It would all be concrete.
Yeah, it'd have to be
Very thick concrete
Yeah.
with a
And
new
then-
base.
And then another 3 million to fix all the roads that we tear up while we construct the.
Well, see, that's the problem. You gotta reroute it. I mean, once you get into it, it's a complicated
it's a
scenario.
mess.
Wasn't there a plan several years ago, or it was discussed, making that truck route all the way straight south on Sunflower to what was then, whether instead of calling northeast, it'd be 11th Street? And that corner there was going to be significantly increased, expanded, and widened so that the trucks could.
There was a proposal that we sent to KDOT for a geometric improvement that would have been able to do that and at least help with that. That was denied by KDOT. And
So that,
project
there
just-
was a plan, but it was denied by KDOT.
Yeah.
Well, there was a plan long time ago that
that might-
to go straight south on Sunflower, and so it was the southbound traffic going to Oklahoma would turn right there, and then the northbound would only go forth, so it was to divide the traffic and have half go one way and half the other, and
I hadn't heard that. That was probably before me, but yeah, that would be an option as well to help with that. But yeah, it's anytime you start trying to deal with that amount of trucks, it's to try to divert them for any amount of time, you'll destroy whatever you're putting them on.
yeah. All right, thanks for the information.
Thank you.
One more time.
One more time. I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner